Good Saturday evening, South Carolina weather. Watching on the hills for South Carolina weather. Just Peterson. Let's go ahead and start up with your weather update for your Saturday. So, very uneventful Saturday. We thought that severe storms were going to happen, but I guess thankfully they didn't. And it was less than what we thought. But honestly, I guess like the ingredients were there. I showed y'all. We had those high dew points. We had those. We had that cape. We had that wind shear. We had all that inside the atmosphere. But the heavy rain from this morning, I think, definitely killed it. It was raining heavily, and since that, it dropped the temperature from what it really needed to be, and that did not give the storm, did not give the, it did not give this showers the potential to go on and produce what they were going to. Now, as of right now, those storms are starting to move towards the coast. As you look at down at South Carolina right now, you can obviously see these storms right there moving down towards the coast, and they're starting to actually kind of re-intensify. Definitely some gusty winds, some lightning, and some heavy rain cannot be ruled out, especially if you're from Dorchester County, um, Berkeley County, Georgetown, Horry County, over there to Beaufort, Colleton, all these counties that are still inside the line for this storm. Definitely gonna have to watch out for some gusty winds, some potential lightning, and some heavy rain for sure. But if you're like at like Columbia, all the way up towards the upstate, you're done for the night. So don't have to worry about any more rain. We'll talk about cloud cover in a second. But looking at the East Coast in general, mostly busy. We do have that rain that stretches all the way down, even in Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. And then we do have some rain that goes from West Virginia, Kentucky, Virginia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City, New York State, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. And then we even have some snow up there inside of Vermont, New Hampshire, and even parts of Maine as well. Go over to the Great Lakes region. We do have some rain and some snow up here in Michigan. And then we do have some rain and some snow up here inside the Pacific Northwest. And that's it pretty much for our radar. Let's go ahead and look at the cloud cover. Cloud cover right now, as everyone expects, is pretty busy right now. Obviously, most people are covered up. There could be a couple of spots, like up there inside the upstate, like the Greenville, Spartanburg region, that may start to see some clearing. But I really don't think we should start. We will start seeing major clearing around like tomorrow morning. But overall, it's going to be pretty cloudy for pretty much the rest of tonight. So, but the morning, we should start seeing that clearing really start to take effect. And look at that fog as well, that dark, kind of like that light blue region. That is fog that stretches from Tennessee through Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia. And it's going to also be low clouds as well. It may not be like fog directly, but some fog slash low clouds definitely are possible. And here's our temperatures right now, our current temperatures. I do feel like that it could be potentially refreshed because there's like a cold front that is moving through right now. But temperatures right now 53 inside of Greenville, 55 in Anderson, 64 in Columbia, 66 in Charleston, 66 in Moncks Corner, 66 in Orangeburg, 64 in Bishopville, 65 inside of Florence. I refreshed it, so it should be coming back up pretty soon. But I guess while that thing is doing its thing, I should talk about the cold front that's passing through right now. So let's go back on the radar and talk about it. So yeah, here's the cold front is right here. If we go and pull out our little marker, if you're circled inside this region, you have already been passed by the cold front. Everyone else right here inside of this region, Conway, Loris, Myrtle Beach, Georgetown, Moncks Corner, Somerville, Hanahan, Charleston, Walterboro, Beaufort, all of these places have not gotten hit by the cold front yet or this line of heavy rainfall yet. So just waiting to see what happens. And here goes. It's refreshed. Nothing really happened. So I'm gonna guess that the cold front has not made it too cold yet. But we're around 64 near Myrtle Beach, and I believe that is 68 near Loris, 63 near Loris, and then 68 near Savannah, and then 64 near Augusta. So, that is that. And let's go ahead and move on. Go to our minimum temperatures for tonight. These are the minimum temperatures I talked about. We just were talking about that cold front. Here we go. 49 inside of Columbia. 50 inside of, that is Sumter and Florence. They both of those town names just completely blanked my mind. 56 inside of Charleston, 56 inside of Myrtle Beach, 48 inside of Augusta, and 41, 42 in Anderson and Greenville, Spartanburg region. No below freezing temperatures are expected, but definitely could get pretty chilly, especially once we get into the upstate. Here is our max wind gust for the next 24 hours. We can see some good wind gusts up there in the Appalachians. You can see a good 41 mile per hour wind gusts up there. But we're not talking about the Appalachian Mountains. We're talking about South Carolina. So 26 Anderson, 20 in Spartanburg, Greenville, 18 Columbia, 21 side of Sumter, 25 in Florence, 24 along the coast, 26 in Savannah, 22 in Augusta. So still some pretty gusty winds can still be expected. So definitely a good 20 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts cannot be ruled out throughout most of South Carolina tomorrow. And then here is our 24-hour max precipitation for the next 24 hours. So definitely that line of storms that line of heavy rain that's about to pass through right now. That's gonna bring some more precipitation, obviously, to places already like the places I pretty much just circled, like the low country of South Carolina and the PD region of South Carolina. Definitely could still see some more rainfall. So definitely something we're gonna have to watch for. As we move into the next couple of hours, or next couple of minutes, I should say. I should say next couple of minutes to an hour. But if we go, let's go all the way to around 7 days out. I mean, we do have another potential system that might come through, bring another inch to the upstate. 0.7 to 0.6 from Columbia to Augusta, and a sharp cutoff with around 0.3 from Florence, Sumter, 0.1 in Charleston, 0.1 in Myrtle Beach. So, honestly, this next storm system cannot really bring a lot of rain, but we are still watching because remember, March the 17th was the day that we were watching for some potential bad weather, and this is March the 16th, so we're just gonna have to wait and see tomorrow, see what happens. Here we go for the line of storms. I don't know if it's gonna pick it up on this. We'll see though. Yeah, no, it's not. But I mean, you can see it exiting off the coast, but it's not gonna pick it up right now because it is 9:26 and it's updated at like 8:40, something like that. So this is just what the models thought. And then here is the Storm Prediction Center's outlook for today. Very interesting enough, they do still have a marginal risk of severe weather out for Jacksonville, Gainesville, Lakeside, Florida, Palm Valley, Florida, and Jacksonville Beach, Florida. Still under that marginal risk of severe weather with no chance of a tornado, no chance of hail, but they do have a 5% chance of damaging winds still in effect. So still have that 5% chance for 60 mile per hour wind gusts down there. Here's our day 2. Obviously, just a couple of rumbles of thunder possible for these regions. From what I see, pretty much just said severe weather appears unlikely, and a few low top storms with lightning flashes could occur. So, just watching for a couple of lightning flashes in these regions. And then once we go to day 3, obviously, just something for the Pacific Northwest. It pretty much just says that inland spread up, increasing moisture and steepening lapse rates associated with the inland spreading upper trough over the Pacific Northwest could yield a few thunderstorms, with little, if any, thunderstorm potential anywhere else. So, honestly, it looks like right now, they're really only looking at the Pacific Northwest coast for some potential thunderstorms. No severe weather is really expected, but I do have to show y'all this. So, day 4 is nothing really to talk about, but they do talk about day 4, day 5, and day 6. They are watching, and even day 7 as well, which is the day that I was talking about. Day 7 for Friday. Potential severe weather. Day 7. Maybe even day 8. But anyways, they're watching severe weather, and I'm watching day 4, and I'll show y'all why. Day 4, they don't have anything yet. But if you go to my screen, this is my outlook for day 4, and I think that definitely if there was a day 4 marginal risk, I think there would definitely be one out. This is definitely something that I think should be watched. Definitely not something that should be considered to be dangerous, but definitely something to be watched. We do have those high dew points. We do have that wind shear, and we do have that marginal cape. So definitely marginal severe storms could have definitely happen from Oklahoma City all the way up through southeastern Kansas, going up into Missouri as well. That's just my marginal risk. They have not put one out yet, but I would not be surprised one bit if they put out a marginal risk of severe weather for Tuesday, March the 12th, 2024. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, but that's not it, because you know who else agrees with me? The CSU model does agree with me as well, kind of highlighting the same area, having that day 4 risk as well for, I think this is, it's for Tuesday. Nothing for day 3, nothing for day 2, and day 5, which was the day that most people were watching, well, actually day 6, but we'll talk about day 6 in a second. Day 5, I'm also watching this because the CIPS is showing a 15% risk, which is a slight risk. They do have this 10% risk as well. But the CSU is talking about something else, but kind of like completely different area. Still has like Missouri in it and parts of Oklahoma and Kansas. But this one, the CSU goes all the way down to like Louisiana. So I think once we get closer, I will make my forecast update on it, and I will talk about what I think potentially what could happen. But we'll see which ones potentially brings out the most. Here's our day 6. Day 6 is the day that most people are watching because the SPC actually does have a 15% risk for potential severe storms for eastern Texas. We do have that 15% risk from the CSU as well. I mean, and it covers a whole swath from eastern Texas all the way through Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas, as well as Oklahoma. So we are just waiting to see what happens with that. Will it expand? Will it shrink? Will it just go away completely? We don't know yet. And then here's the 15% risk as well from the CIPS. Pretty much the same thing as the SPC model. The SPC, that's not a model. The SPC, which is, the actual human thing that humans make. Then here's day 7. Day 7, I mean, just overall, from the CSU, just madness. I mean, they think a marginal risk could happen from Texas all the way throughout all of the Dixie Alley, all of the Southeast, all of the Mid-Atlantic, most of the Ohio Valley, going even up into the Northeast. I mean, this is obviously not going to happen. But, I mean, like, wow. The CSU is going all out for this risk. I mean, showing the highest probability in Texas. So, just going to have to watch for that. See what happens. If the SPC did issue a marginal risk this large, I think we would have to check on them and make sure that they were okay. But here's our day 7 CIPS. We do have a 10% risk as well from them, but way smaller than the CSU. But the CIPS does show a 10% risk for Louisiana, Mississippi, and then as well for Georgia and parts of South Carolina towards like Anderson, Greenwood, Augusta. So just watching out for that. Day 8 as well. Not too much to worry about. A little one inside of Texas, and maybe some inside northern South Carolina, Rock Hill, places like that. And now let's go ahead and talk about excessive rainfall. So going into today into tonight, we do have that marginal risk of excessive rainfall still in effect for the coastal regions of South Carolina, going into the PD region of South Carolina. But I think the only thing that we need to worry about is everyone that's still going to get impacted by that line for some potential heavy rainfall. As of right now, I do not think that it is raining outside of my house right now. No, it's not. All right. So the thing has not gotten to me yet. It's going to get to me soon though. Probably like in the next couple of minutes. Probably when I finish recording is when it's gonna get to me. But for sure, gonna have to watch out see what happens with this, even though I don't think that excessive rainfall is going to really happen, or flash flooding, I should say. And then we do have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall for southern Georgia, Florida, eastern North Carolina, most of Virginia, eastern West Virginia, Pennsylvania, all of Maryland almost, all of New Jersey, southern New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and Maine and New Hampshire. So those are all of our states included inside of the marginal risk of excessive rainfall for tonight. Tomorrow we do have a little marginal risk of excessive rainfall, only for Maine though. And then day 3, we do not have any risk for any excessive rainfall for all the lower 48 United States at all for day 3, which is Monday. So we might have a little quiet Monday, just a couple of thunderstorms off the coast of Oregon and Washington, but that's pretty much all we're watching for. But a nice weekend overall. Sunday's looking to be a nice day. It's looking to be pretty nice for most of us. So that is something great. I would usually go over the excessive rainfall thing, but honestly, as of right now, I'm not seeing anything too bad from what the CSU is saying. The CSU, you all can't see it, but the CSU right now is really only showing just some pretty unique things, but I'm not sure that it's anything that we have to worry about. Does have some marginal risk. Does have some. I think there was a slight risk right there. Yeah, there are some slight risk. Does have a day 6 if there was an enhanced risk, but there's no enhanced risk at all for flash flooding. So that's for day 6, but we're way too far out for that. But nothing between day 3 and day 5, which is what we're watching for and what is really good, and especially nothing going for South Carolina right now. So I'm not worried about any excessive rainfall. But let's go ahead and talk about the GFS. So let's start this off. Push this forward. That will be out of our hair, and then this high pressure is gonna take over, and it's gonna be nice weather for the next couple of days. And then that little high pressure might defend us from some of this rain right there. You can see that high pressure out there in the ocean, kind of going to guide the storms around us. And then we have this huge system right here that honestly looked like was gonna bring like some sort of severe weather. I'm not sure about it now, but we do have this huge system right here gonna bring definitely some heavy rain for sure. This is our El Nino pattern. Y'all know how that works. El Nino is when Gulf of Mexico moisture rises up, and then, well, I should say Gulf of Mexico heat rises up. You have your moisture channel going through Southern California, which is kind of why California is getting like all of this moisture. It goes from California, it goes through, and then the cold air collides, it creates storms, and that's how that happens. So if you did not know how that works, that's pretty much how it works in an El Nino. And then we do have that heavy rain that's going to move off, and then we're going to be quiet from a period pretty much from, seems to be March the 18th probably to like the 20th. Then the 21st is going to come through, maybe hit us with some more rain, some heavy rain as well. Not really watching anything too much for severe weather yet, but it could always occur. And then here is the 300 hours. We don't really pay attention to these too much. And that's going to be about it. But before I go ahead and wrap this up, I do want to talk about the week, because I usually do, but sometimes I forget. And actually, I would talk about that No, I'll talk about that today, because it's Saturday, so. Usually I was thinking about doing it on Sunday, but I just realized, why would I do it if we don't count Sunday as well? So yeah, we'll do it today. Here's our week 1 temperature map. Most of South Carolina right now is going to be above average, as you can see. Not too much above average, but definitely above average. So we're gonna have to wait and see like how much above average we're talking, but it does not seem to be too much above. I mean, look up inside the northern U.S. though. I mean, very above average for them. Precipitation wise, we will be above average as well. So precipitation is going to be above average. Temperatures are going to be above average. Not too much though, to the point to where it's going to be boiling hot or it's going to be like flooding your houses, but like enough to where it's definitely noticeable. No, but that's going to about do that. And let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. I usually talk about these sometimes, the 2 meter temperature anomalies. If you're going ahead and look at it now, here we go on March the 9th. You see that cold front trying to push in, and it does, and it brings cold temperatures on March the 11th. And that cold air is going to try and stick out for a while too, but then the warm air is just going to be too much for it, and it's going to take it over again, and it's going to be probably really hot on the 14th. Not summertime hot, but definitely enough hot to where it's like, oh yeah, it's like this is springtime for sure. And that heat's gonna stay there from the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, and then finally the 18th. We might have a little bit of a break as another trough comes in, bringing in those cold temperatures, and that's gonna come in, and the coldness is gonna stay there for a lot of days as well. I mean, look at this: the 18th, the 19th, the 20th, and then the 21st. It just disappears, but then it reappears on the 22nd, and then the warm air is going to come out of nowhere, take it over again on the 23rd, the 24th, and then the cold air takes it back over on the 25th. So it's honestly just a battleground at this point. It's just, when will the cold air gonna give way to the warm air, and when is the warm air gonna give way to the cold air? That's pretty much what it is, and that's our pattern. That's our pattern for sure. So yeah, that's gonna be about it. Thank y'all so much for watching this forecast update tonight. Definitely not a short one. Still around 22 minutes, but honestly, it's gonna be a while before I get down. Like, unless the only reason to, as of why I have like a 4 or 5 minute video would only be in the morning, and that's how you know like literally nothing's going on. Like, if I go on TV, or not even TV, if I come on here, for example, and there's nothing going on, I mean, you might see like a 3, 4, 5 minute video from me just talking about it, because I might just go through, talk about the temperature, talk about the current temperature, the cloud cover, the wind gusts, which might not be a lot, precipitation. If it's sunny, there's going to be none. Severe weather might briefly go other places, but not really us. Excessive rainfall, and then that's it. The forecast is done. So that's gonna be about it. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all tomorrow morning. No, not tomorrow morning. Sunday morning. I don't do videos Sunday morning. I will see y'all tomorrow evening for another forecast update.